A lovely good afternoon to our viewers at Slau TV. Thank you for always choosing Slau Media. As we promised, we are going to be following the elections, the 19th Guild elections at St. Lawrence University. That's what we are here to deliver. Today is 27th of March. Literally, it's polling day. But if you know, polling day is just something that climaxes an election. But an election is a process that builds up smoothly. And for now, I take you through that process from where it all began. It all began about 10 days ago, 11th of this very month, as the guild president, the outgoing guild president, the 18th guild president, His Excellency Abdurazak, appointed the Electoral Commission, just like the Constitution mandates him to appoint 5 Electoral Commission members in consultation with the Dean of Students and the Speaker. However, interestingly, this Electoral Commission has 6 members, and as we were talking to Madame Medina, who is the chair of the 19th Electoral Commission, she clearly said that they were awaiting for the appointment of the 7th member, which we do not know until date. If the 7th member was appointed and she or he is part of the people that are making sure that the electoral process goes on smoothly. First and foremost, I would love to tell you that the electoral process is going on smoothly. Though the weather in the morning was kinda not good, it rained, but for now the electoral process is going on smoothly and security is everywhere. There are zero disturbance so far. However, there was a candidate who was reportedly to have practiced vote rigging or vote stuffing, because there was a ballot book that was circulating all over the internet that he had ticked in red ink. His names are withdrawn. Now to go back, as I was telling you, the guild president appointed the commissioners. The commission is a commission of 6 chaired by Madame Medina Jones, who is a South Sudanese student. Not forgetting, she was an aspiring candidate last year. She was running as vice president alongside Mr. Katamba Julius. However, that election didn't go in their favor, leading to the win of Abdurazak. Therefore, this time around, she was appointed as the chair of the 19th Guild Commission. Interestingly, in a conversation that we had with her, she said she is a lady of principles. She said she's a lady who solves problems, and clearly she has solved a problem, because as you can see, voting is going on smoothly. The other people on the commission is Mr. Tashora Jackson, who is his vice chair. Mr. Tashora has been serving on the 18th Guild government as the male MP of the Faculty of ICT and Information Technology. Interestingly, he is the only male personality on the entire committee. Others are ladies. Remember, we are in the month of ladies, and at St. Lawrence University we took an extra mile of celebrating ladies as we appointed them to deliver a free and fair, also a transparent election. The other personality on the EC is Fahia Omar, the only Somali student on the EC this time round, and she is the General Secretary. She is the General Secretary of the 19th Electoral Commission. And interestingly, she's the only Muslim personality on the entire commission. The other personality is Namobilu Masetasha, who is a student of mass communication and journalism, a fellow. And she has also been serving on the 18th Guild government as an MP, one of the 2 MPs that the Constitution mandates the president to elect. Remember, the president is mandated by the Constitution to elect appoint 2 MPs and his ministers. The other personality is Mwesugwa Esther, who is serving as the publicity of the EC. And if you've been moving around, you can see posters, banners that have been put around. This is courtesy of her. And she's also serving as the president of the Road Tract. So if you're a road tractor out there, get to know you're being represented on the EC as they deliver a free and fair election. She has also been serving on the 18th Guild government as an MP, a female MP for education. However, she was also part of the 18th Electoral Commission. So that those are the personalities on the EC. Those are the 6 personalities that were mandated to, to, to provide a free and fair election. But they were sworn in, or they took their oath of allegiance to deliver this task on 11th of this very month at 11 a.m. in the morning. Interestingly, after their oath, within 5 hours, they had produced the roadmap. Talking to Madam Medina on 16th on the policy room, for those who have been following closely on Slau media, she said after they took their oath, they had a closed meeting because they were tasked with a great duty. They had to start away. They produced a roadmap within 5 hours, a roadmap that consisted of very many items. Item number 1 was to begin on 12th, the following day after their oath, which was campus awareness, where they were supposed to make us aware of the election. And it was supposed to be done on campus and off campus, that is on social media platforms, through the via WhatsApp channels of the university. These include Slau, WhatsApp, and information access. However, if you've been vigilant enough, you get to notice that on campus awareness was not done wonderfully. However, you could credit the EC for having delivered awareness via WhatsApp channels. Talking to Madam Medina, she said they tried their level best through putting out banners, manila papers that had information showing the election. However, students had pulled them out, and she took a warning to the students that had done so. Item number 2 on the roadmap had to begin on 13th until 16th, which is one of the most important items, which was picking up nomination forms. Candidates were supposed to pick up their nomination forms from the 13th to 16th. However, our sources have it that one of the candidates picked his nomination forms on 17th early morning. We do not know why it happened. We do not know why the EC allowed this to happen, why they let it slide. We do not know. However, it happened. Now, these are the requirements that were expected of a candidate as they were picking their nomination form. They were expected to carry money. The president had to carry a sum of 300, and his or her vice president had to carry a sum of 200 shillings, totaling up to a sum of 500. So the president had to carry 500 shillings as they picked their nomination forms, and the MPs had to carry a sum of 35k as they were picking their nomination forms at the EC office, which is located on the 2nd floor as you move on the ladders, rather the steps. Posts that were put out that candidates were supposed to pick their nomination forms included MPs, where halls of residence had to send one female MP and a single male MP. And also the faculties had to send one male MP and a single female MP. Even the non-residents had to do so. Very many candidates go to pick up their nomination forms. To put it in particular, 5 presidential candidates picked up their nomination forms, which included Mr. Kalema, Mr. Nyanzi Bashir, widely known as Mujomba or Crazy Lona, Muganga Brian, who is actually serving on the 18th Guild Commission, rather the 18th Guild government, as the male MP non-residents. Other candidates included, I was saying Mr. Kalema, that's 1, Muganga Brian, that's 2, Nabira, the only female candidate that got to pick up her nomination forms, and the other candidate is Waninda Jafal, Honorable Waninda Jafal, the man that we reached out to during the policy room, and he failed to show up. We do not know why he failed, but trust me, if you've been following, we interviewed all the other 4 candidates that were able to pick their nomination forms. Up next, on 8 MPs were able to pick their nomination forms. However, the members of the ICT faculty didn't send a female MP, and posters were put around campus requesting them to send a female MP. Information has not been released if there was any contender, a female contender in particular, from the information and technology faculty. Even one of the halls missed a female MP. As we go on, item number 2 on the list was returning of nomination forms. That was supposed to happen on 17th. On 17th, just like I told you, our sources have it that one of the candidates picked his nomination forms early morning 17th. We do not know why the EC let this slide, but it is what happened, I can assure you. Attach a green card. Also expected to attach soft copies of their passport photos that were going to be used on ballot papers. They were also expected to attach, we are still on the MPs. They were also expected to attach forms or papers that had at least 35 signatures from students. This is what the constitution says. However, talking to Madam Medina on the 16th, she clearly said that they had no way of verifying these signatures, but rather a custom, just like the constitution says, leaving a very great question. If the EC today will deliver a free and fair election, if they could not verify the signatures, the question remains, can they verify voters today? But if you've been to the hall, the process is going on smoothly. They are verifying voters. However, there are no technical measures of verifying voters, but rather what I could call human measures of verifying the voters. Now, getting to the candidates, getting to the presidential candidates. Presidential candidates were also supposed to attach the same requirements. If you've just joined us, the requirements are an identification card and a full admission letter to prove that you are a fully registered student of the university. Of course, we can't have an outsider as our leader. Also, the candidates were expected to touch a green card. As I earlier told you, the green card is a document that proves you've paid a reasonable amount on your tuition. A green card is, I don't know if my producer could get something. Okay, there is a technical error. But a green card is literally a long green paper, manila paper, that has a picture of the owner at the right top corner that shows you've paid something on your tuition. Candidates were also supposed to touch 50 signatures from 50 students. Now, MPs are supposed to touch signatures from at least 35 students. You can attach more, but presidents are supposed to attach signatures from at least 50 students. This is what the Constitution says in Article 43, that's entitled Electoral Procedures. Candidates are supposed to touch at least 50, but as I earlier told you, the EC chair told us she had no way, or her and her team had no way of approving or verifying the signatures, leaving or posing a great question if today they are able to verify the voters. Now, as presidents return their nomination forms, that's what they were expected to attach. If you've been following, an identification card, a green card, a full letter of admission, signatures from different students, and the candidates in return got a receipt. They were also supposed to attach their results, photocopied results from year one. Remember, one of the qualifications to run as president, you're supposed to be in your year 2 of studies, and that's semester 2. And for MP candidates, you can always be in any year as long as you are not a finalist. You're not supposed to be a finalist. Therefore, you can run if you're in year 1 and year 2. Now, in return, as the candidates returned their nomination forms, they picked a receipt of payment that proved they had fully paid for the fees that accepts or allows them to run as candidates. On 18th, that was a Wednesday, 18th, the vetting process happened in the lower boardroom. In the vetting process, we had very many personalities in there, but however, the day was taken over by the EC, who were the major people, but other people included the Dean of Students, Simon Mavila Peter, the Vice Chancellor of the university, Mr. Lennox from the Department of Business was also there, the Dean Faculty, the Faculty Dean of Arts and Social Science, Dr. Ongora, was also present during the vetting process. I was also present during the voting process, doing my other duties at Slau Media, which is camera work. If you're not seeing me on screens, I'm usually doing camera work. Now, to take you through what vetting process is, the vetting process, candidates get to be asked questions that are meant to test their knowledge about the institution itself, their knowledge about current affairs, their knowledge about the world, their knowledge about God, and more. And according to the EC chair, a candidate to qualify to have passed the vetting process had to get a pass mark of 50. However, the results were not put out. Now, aspiring candidates that had picked up their nomination forms, interestingly managed to attend the vetting process. However, things didn't go well for a candidate. We shall get to that. During the vetting process, two candidates, that is Mr. Wanida Jafal and Kalema, happened to come late. They came late. However, other candidates were on time and they were clearly verified. But during the vetting process, Madam Nabira, who is the only female aspirant in this race, had issues with her vice president because her vice president last year was a diploma student who is upgrading her studies. And according to the AR, she said she had not fulfilled some duties she had to fulfill. She had not fulfilled some qualifications. However, as we speak, she's a running mate, meaning she managed to fulfill all the qualifications before today. Also, Madam Nabira reportedly some of her documents were missing. That is documents that showed her marks from year 1 or her results from year 1. However, she said she had submitted and she had receipts. Remember, a receipt was only given to a candidate who had fully submitted in all the requirements, meaning the EC had misplaced her documents. Also posing a question, if the EC could not manage a simple duty of keeping documents in hand or keeping documents safely, can they manage to deliver a free and fair election? Have they kept the ballot papers themselves safely? If they could not keep two documents from two candidates safely, have they kept our ballot papers safely? We do not know about that, but we shall know about that later. After the vetting process, all MP candidates that had put in their documents managed to get through. Remember, as I earlier told you, results of the vetting process was that candidate was expected to get at least 50% and above, at least 50%. However, these results were not published to the general public. I know probably for reasons of avoiding biasness. I mean, for example, if your candidate A got 50 and the other candidate B got an 80, you would totally get biased. But the EC managed to keep this a secret. Now, all 8 MPs, as they had shown interest, managed to get through the vetting process. However, one of the presidential candidates, and that is Mr. Kalema, didn't manage to make it through. The reason that was shared from the Office of Dean of Students was he had mobilized a riot earlier last year, which was rioting against the late payment rather the late registration penalty. Remember, we have according to the tuition policy, we used to have 4 penalties: 3 late registration payments and three late three late payments and 1 late registration payment. And this was put off last year due to the riot that Mr. Kalema had mobilized. But remember, the EC is meant to be an independent body. Setting a big question: is our EC that is delivering the 19th Guild election an independent body? Because it acted due to a reason that was put in by the office of the Dean of Students, posing a big question: are they truly independent, or they are not independent? We do not know about that, but you can get to tell, is our EC truly independent? After the vetting process, we headed straight to the open campaigns. During the open campaigns on Slau Media, we managed to host a few candidates. We managed to host a few candidates. We managed to host one MP, that was Mr. Addison, from the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, the faculty where I actually come from. And he shared with us his manifesto and everything. We managed to host 3 of the presidential candidates. 3 of them. One of them, who is Mr. Waninda Jafal, didn't manage to make it for reasons he didn't mention. As I was telling, one of the candidates, that is Mr. Waninda Jafal, didn't make it. We do not know why, but the other 3 candidates managed to share with us their manifestos. For now, we are going to take a very short commercial break, and when we return, we are going to discuss open campaigns, the debate, and the voting or the polling day itself. For now, we are taking a short commercial break. I am still Musinwa Chauvin, taking you through the entire voting process, through the entire electoral process as we speak. Elections are ongoing. Candidates managed.
Standing at St. Lawrence University where voting is underway, students have turned up in large numbers to elect their next guild president. With the 4 candidates in this race, ooh, the light is off. Wick is doing other things. Standing here at St. Lawrence University where voting is underway, why are you looking at me like that? Sunny. Standing here at St. Lawrence University, where voting is underway, students have turned in large numbers to elect their next guild president. With 4 candidates in this race, the outcomes remain uncertain, but by the end of the day, the ballot will decide who will take the responsibility of becoming the responsibility of becoming the next guild president of the university. I go again. Standing here at St. Lawrence University, where voting is underway, students have turned up in large numbers to elect their next guild president. With 4 candidates in this race, the outcomes remain unveiled, but by the end of the day, the ballot will decide who will take the responsibility of leading the students' body. Reporting for Slau TV, I'm Penelope Okunda. I go again.
They're all on. Which microphone is on?
Is it the one holding?
It's on, eh?
Yes. How is it?
It was very good. You were so informed.
But I was struggling.
I even didn't know about the, it's okay, child thing. I even didn't know about the, what do they call it, that girls diploma thing. That's the vice
Standing
of
here at St. Lawrence
Nabila.
University, where voting is underway, students have turned up in large numbers to elect their next guild
It's
president.
not easy.
With the 4 candidates in the race,
But it's okay.
outcomes
One
remain
time
uncertain,
you're going to look
but
back
by
and
the
be
end
like,
of
that's
this
where.
day, the ballot will decide who will take the
But you
responsibility
could
of leading the
keep
students'
it up.
body. Reporting for
Ah,
Slau
we did
TV, I'm Penelope Okunda.
Welcome back from that commercial break. I don't know why that word usually disturbs me, but you're most welcome. Thank you for always choosing Slau Media. I am still Musinwa Chauvin, taking you through the voting process. But now, on set, I'm joined by a lady. Remember, we are in the month of ladies. What is celebrating a month of ladies without ladies on the set? Madam.
Thank you so much, my informed colleague, Mr. Chauvin. I'm honored to be here. And to
Now,
talk
before we
about
went for the commercial break, we were heading to open campaigns.
Yes.
First and foremost, who do you think has been the most vibrant candidate during the open campaigns?
honestly speaking, the most vibrant candidate, and it's very evident and undeniably seen, was or is Mr. Jaffa Wandida.
And I bet one could say he has been the financial muscle. He has been financially stable throughout this entire election.
Yes.
I mean, guy brought in vehicles from outside.
He took it so serious. He made us have a feel that he's getting into something that he knows.
But it is a presidential campaign.
Yes.
But guy didn't come for the policy room for reasons we do not know. But I think he probably might have chickened out.
Yeah.
Why? Who knows?
Chickened out. Wow.
But as candidates were campaigning openly, they shared with us their manifestos.
Yes.
Who do you think has the best manifesto?
Well, I'm not here to weigh and say that so and so had the best manifesto, honestly, because they all spoke out their minds, and we could literally know that they all had different views.
Okay.
Or the visions, I mean, about what they want to
Okay,
do.
let's do this. Since
Yes.
there are 4 candidates and media is meant to be neutral, we are not
Yes.
saying who has the best
Yes.
manifesto. But
Yes.
I bet you also know, you've listened, you've been following. I mean, you know who has the best manifesto. But what we are here to do is literally to break down their manifestos.
Yes.
Now, let's start with the only female candidate in the race. By the way, her running is also a female.
Yes.
Nabira has a running as Madam Hayat.
Hayat Olivia.
Madam Hayat Olivia.
Yes.
Remember, we do not know who the winner will be,
Yes.
but the winner will be announced by the EC within 12 hours, just like the Constitution mandates them to do.
Yes.
Now, we are beginning off with Madam Nabira.
Yes.
What was in her manifesto? Can we break it down for the viewer? Because that's our work. Because I know our viewers never took the mandate to read through the manifestos. But
Yes.
why should you do that?
Yes.
Slau Media is here. We are meant to do that. We read the manifestos and now we are here to break them down for you. Now, Madam Nabira had her manifesto rotating around leadership with impact.
Impact, yes.
I believe she had one of the best slogans through the campaign.
Yes, yes.
Because she said, ever since she stepped into St. Lawrence University,
Yes.
she has never felt leadership impacting her. And she's like, it's time of action.
Yes. So, from thank you so much, Mr. Chalvin. From Nabila's open air campaigns, we could really tell that this lady is very serious and she knows what she's getting herself into. Her slogan as well, it gives you a feel that she knows what she's getting into. Real leadership, real impact, yes? Her manifesto was touching our education system at St. Lawrence University. She talked about the late penalties for the tuition that we pay.
It seems all the 4 candidates understood the assignment. They understood what hurts students.
Yes.
Every candidate had this,
Yes.
made this a song throughout the campaigns, speaking about the 3 late payments, posing a big question: should we pay all the 3 late payments?
Yes. Now, all the 3 candidates start that because honestly, we are all in the same society, so we are facing the same issues, yeah? And that's the most pressing thing. So they definitely had to talk about that. Now, about the late payments, it affects our education, like you getting your degree, because most of the students in our university are self-employed people.
By the way, if you do not know who Madam Nabira is, better head onto our YouTube channel after this live ends.
Yes.
Her profile stories are out, both English and the Luganda version for Luganda lovers.
Yes.
English story credits goes to our reporter Henry Tamari, and the Luganda story credits go to our reporter Mr. Iga Fred.
Yes.
You can go check it out. You can understand her profile. She has been a leader throughout her education. If you don't know, she was the vice chairperson of the 18th Guild elections.
Yes.
By the way, this was also an interesting topic throughout the entire electoral process, posing a question. Because remember, Madam Medina, who is the EC of the 19th Guild Electoral Commission, was a running mate of Mr. Katamba Julius in the previous elections. We do not know. Because she lost, we do not know if this will affect Nabira, who vice-chaired the Electoral Commission that delivered an election where Madam Medina lost. Now, still about the manifesto, however, when we were talking to her on the policy room earlier this week, I think, she said she has 100% trust in the EC and the process that gives birth to the EC. I think all candidates trust the EC.
All candidates trust the EC.
However, 2 candidates, we shall get to them later,
Yes.
said they do not trust the process that gives birth to the EC, although they trust the personalities that are on the EC.
Oh, yes. They don't trust the process. Okay, I get you.
If you've just come in, the personalities on the EC are 6. You will get to see this after this live is closed. We break down them, the 6 personalities on the EC. Now back to the manifesto. Point number 2 on Madam Nabira's manifesto was empowerment.
Yes.
And she defined empowerment in terms of beyond the lecture room.
Yes.
Over here, say so. She defined empowerment. What do we do beyond the lecture room? Remember, very many students get out of the university and all they have is the transcript and they don't have anything else to do. And she said she's bringing in organizations to empower us, and she actually said that she is what she is just because of empowerment.
Charvin, did she talk about that?
Okay, the other point on Madame Nabira's manifesto was inclusivity. Inclusivity is actually one of the core values of the university. Could you tell the viewers, break it down in simple English, what is inclusivity?
Inclusivity, to me, my understanding of inclusivity is that every student in St. Lawrence University is seen and is heard. They're included in the affairs of the university. Yes, the education and then the leadership of the university. Now, our university has students from very many countries, Sudan, Comoros, and we have very many associations of what?
All over the world.
All over the world, yes. Our university is international, by the way. So she talked about inclusivity in that she's going to be, she's going to set up systems that will make it easy for the other students to be seen and
that I could use to explain inclusivity, but I believe she has delivered. Now, heading to the next country, when we were talking to Madame Nabira, she made it clear she has not yet appointed the guild government or the ministerial members she will be working with. That is if she's declared president-elect tonight. Remember, polling will be closing at 5. If you're still at home, take your green card, run to the main hall, that is Timothy. Morning.
Yes.
By the way, he's standing out as the only Christian candidate in the race.
Yes.
The other three candidates, Nazi Bashir, Madame Nabira, and Wanida Jafal, are Muslims.
Yes, yes, yes.
And he has a Somali, Mr. I don't know, but Somali names get to be tough. Ezekiel. Okay, let's leave that out for purposes of not annoying people as we are pronouncing their names wrongly.
Yes, yes.
But all you need to know, he has his vice president as a Somali.
Who is Muslim?
He's
Who is Muslim, by
This
the
is
way?
getting religious. This
No,
is getting
it's
religious.
Not. It's not. It's not.
But anyway, getting to his manifesto.
Yes. So, oh my God. Speaking about Mr. Brian.
Mr.
Muganga Brian. Yes, he is the current MP residents, right? Non-residents. Sorry about that. He's a current MP non-residents. That clearly shows you that this one has a history of leadership already in the 18th Guild government.
And in his conversation yesterday, he shared with us that he's an apostle. He's a preacher of the word.
Wow. And I remember he also said that he was greatly anointed by God to take up the position of the guild president.
Now, interestingly, while we
that.
were talking to him,
Yes.
when I asked him what inspired him to become the guild president, he gave me an answer I didn't expect, an answer no candidate has given to me.
I remember.
He said he fell in love with the office of the guild president at first sight.
Like
Bro is literally in love with the office.
that shows you that he has a passion for the office.
By the way, what stood out for me throughout his campaign, he
Yes.
brought in a band, a musical band.
And speaking of the band, yesterday he actually told us in the policy room that the reason as to why he brought that band was that he isn't campaigning, he is celebrating his victory. The man really believes that he has already won the elections.
I actually love that, but that's what literally gets to annoy voters. This could promote biasness. What do you mean you've already won?
No, he has certain values. Now, as a believer, there is just something in there in you giving thanks before you see the manifestation of that which you want to see.
Anyway, I don't know, but men and women of God tend to confuse me. I mean, what are you telling to us that you've already won? You're literally celebrating your victory.
Do you know what it means for him to even bring he has a Wi-Fi project that is in place?
But no. Speaking to him, he said
Yes.
the administration rejected his offer.
Oh, I thought they said they would put it on hold. It's okay. Thank you.
But to break down his manifesto, one of his core values in the manifesto is inclusivity.
Yes.
I think what the candidates literally did was head to the core values of the university, copy up something, because I mean you can't speak to a society that you do not know or do not understand their core values. So if you're to campaign, you should campaign within the premises of the core values of the people you're campaigning to.
Yes.
As we earlier explained what inclusivity is. And he proves this by bringing in a Somali as his vice president.
Yes.
And interestingly, to the candidates we had a word with, he is the only candidate that assured us that he has already appointed the people he is going to be working with. Giving us a hint, he told us if he goes through, his prime minister is coming from South Sudan.
Yes.
And he said all the ministerial posts that he's supposed to appoint are full. So if you're out there and you hide a position in his government, if Madam Medina declares her as the president-elect tonight, you're too late for the next elections. I mean, Guy promised us, Guy assured us his ministerial cabinet is full. And what other stood out for me in his campaign, he has the biggest number of posters all over campus. I don't know, but he told us he's a businessman who deals in charcoal. I mean, everyone buys charcoal, everyone cooks.
Yes.
Probably Guy is loaded.
Now, speaking of him as a businessman, yesterday he actually told us that he is a father. He's a parent. He has 2 daughters, right?
A parent of 2.
Of 2.
And he even went an extra mile of sending shout out to his wife.
Shout out to his wife. Wow. Now with me knowing that he's a father, I can really now understand why he decided. You remember he talked about looking for opportunities for the students in his manifesto.
Exactly.
Outside, and then he talked about going to some place and having at least connections with the people. Slauians, when you vote him, internship opportunities are
and
graduation,
he
get a job.
has one of the best sayings in the campaign,
Yes,
every Slauian matters.
Yes.
Heading to the next candidate, Mr. Waninda Jafal, Honorable Waninda Jafal. You may like him or not, but he has been one of the best or one of the most serving ministers in the outgoing government.
Yes.
Believe it or not,
Yes.
the entertainment, sports and culture sector has prospered throughout the previous term.
Yes.
However, Guy chickened out. He didn't attend the policy room. I do not know why until date.
You get to know that later. You get to know that later. Now, speaking about Mr. Jaffa, oh my God, this man has really there is this slogan that is coming up nowadays: vote leaders that will serve. We can undeniably say that man has served as the Minister of Sports and Entertainment in the university.
Now, heading to his manifesto,
Yes.
the man promised to help the university attain a charter. However, we do not know how he's going to achieve this, because during the open air debate, He was asked how he was going to achieve this, and he didn't get it. He didn't explain it to us well.
No, he explained it.
What did he
explained
say?
it. He said for the requirements needed for you to get a charter, there must be good leadership, right? Now, if he is elected, you get as a good leader, you get at least you'll be able to push forward for that.
Anyway, as
'Cause he talked
journalists, we are
about-
here to fight misinformation. That's misinformation. That's
He
not
talked
one of the requirements that are needed for university to get a charter. Guy was misinforming, and we are not decampaigning him. If you're a voter of Mr. Waninda, get your green card, head to Chimuli Main Hall, cast your vote for Mr. Waninda. As I earlier said, you may like him or not, but he has been one of the most outstanding ministers on the 18th government. I mean, he revived the Culture Gala, he revived the faculty intersports, he revived, okay, the Freshers' Ball was happening, but he has the best Freshers' Balls in the history of Slau.
Speaking of reviving things, also in his manifesto, he said that he would bring back the Mr. and Mrs. Job Creator. We can't wait.
An event that used to give the students a chance to win a car, a brand new car.
Oh
So
my
if he's
God.
bringing this back next year or this very year, one of Slawians stands a chance of winning a brand new car. We do not know if this will be able to happen, but this is what he promised us. And he promised that he will bring vibrancy of the campus.
Yes.
And given his service as the Minister of Entertainment, Sports and Culture, I 100% believe he is a man that can bring back vibrancy within the institution.
He also talked about making Slawians proud of St. Lawrence University with the new systems and new things that he's going to bring in place. Yes.
And he also
So
brought
every
in
Slawian-
inclusivity. Inclusivity seems to be one of the main things that have been one of the main things in the campaign. Every candidate had it as one of the core values of their manifesto. And even he also had to talk about the penalties. I mean, it's
Yes.
one thing that is affecting students at Central West University.
Yes, yes.
So he had to bring it up. And not forgetting, his vice president is a South Sudanese.
Yes.
Since we didn't get a chance to host him on the policy room, we do not know if he has fully appointed all the members he is going to be working with on his guild government. That is if Madam Medina declares him as the president-elect tonight. Heading to the very last candidate. If you've just joined us, what we are doing is literally breaking down the manifestos and the entire campaigning season at St. Lawrence University. Heading to the last candidate, Mr. Nyanzi Bashir. You may know him as Munyomba.
Crazy Lona.
He is widely also known as Crazy,
Crazy Lona.
Speaking of influential candidates, he's one of the most influential candidates when it comes to the WhatsApp, to the official university WhatsApp channels.
Yes.
That's Slau Voice Hub and Information Access. Now, taking you back to the vetting process a little bit. After the vetting process, he was shortly not allowed to be a candidate. One, according to the custodian, I'm forgetting the name. According to the custodian, he said, Mr. Chimbugwe, according to Mr. Chimbugwe, the custodian, he said that the candidate had shared stickers. If you know stickers, if you're on internet, you definitely know stickers. Had shared stickers on WhatsApp channels that had pissed off someone. And the identity of that someone was withheld. Now, working in hand with his vice president, who is Madam Shanita Kaneza, who is a student of mass communication and journalism, a fellow.
Yes.
They wrote an apology letter that was submitted to the Office of Dean of Students and to the Office of the Custodian. And they were forgiven. They were allowed to run.
Yes.
And that's why today they are part of the people we are voting. If you've been to the main hall, if you've casted your vote, you get to realize Mr. Nyanzi Bashir is candidate number 3 on the ballot. If you're a voter of Mr. Nyanzi Bashir, if you're a fan of him, as he goes with the name Crazy Lona. If you're a fan of, they have a group, it's called Crazy Family. If you're a fan or a member of the Crazy Family, pick your green card, head to Chimoli Main Hall, cast your vote for Mr. Mjomba, for Mr. Nyanzi.
And make sure that green card is for this very semester. That you have to be a registered student of this semester.
But before you cast your vote for him, this is his manifesto. Of course, inclusivity. I mean, inclusivity is something that has been outstanding throughout the entire campaigning process.
Yes, he also talked about the social welfare of the students in the university. Yes, he talked about accountability and I think transparency.
And his saying has been mandate.
His slogan is "We build for the future." So when you vote him, you're building for the future.
Part of their manifesto, together with his running mate, that is Madam Kaneza Shanita, a fellow of mass communication and journalism,
yes,
included emancipation. I mean,
yes.
However, it's also something that stood out for Madam Nabira, who her running mate is also a lady.
Yes.
However, while speaking to Madam Nabira, she clearly stated that she didn't choose Madam Olivia Hayat as a running mate because she was a lady, but because she is a leader, because she has the values and they believed in the same values.
Yes.
Back to Mr. Nyanzi, Mr. Bashir.
Back to Mr. Nyanzi.
We are still breaking now his manifesto.
Okay, his manifesto.
By the way, his manifesto is the last thing I read before coming to SET. It's the last thing I've actually read. It's the first thing I've actually read since the semester began.
Yeah.
I had to sit down, analyze the manifesto. He's a fellow from the Faculty of Information and ICT and Information Technology.
Yes.
His running mate is Madam Kaneza Shanita, a fellow from the Faculty of Social Sciences. Now, as media, we are meant to be neutral, and I'm not saying go and vote for them. But if you are their voter, please go and vote for them. Because
if you believe in their values and their manifesto, you can get your green card and go to the main hall.
That's how the campaign at Central Lens University has been staged.
Yes.
Now heading to an interesting activity that was also part of the roadmap, the open air debate that happened yesterday. The setup of the open air debate had 3 sessions. The first session, the students were given an opportunity to question the candidates.
Yes.
The other session is where the staff was given an opportunity to question the candidates. And the last part was the face-off, where candidates were given opportunity to question each other.
That was the most interesting part.
Since it ended, I've had a complaint. The complaint goes to the staff. Staff is given an opportunity to question the candidates during the vetting process. Why come into the open air debate and get into time of the students? Remember, we are the voters. We are meant to question these candidates thoroughly. But each candidate was questioned 2 questions from students.
Yes. To each.
Now, if you are not following, let's head to the first session. Let's break it for you down. What happened throughout the open debate? Mr. Nyanzi was asked questions. By the way, in a funny way, his campaigning manager, Mr. Kalema, if you've just tuned in, Mr. Kalema was an aspirant who was refused to run. The EC rejected him to run.
Yes.
Because he had mobilized a riot last year. Last semester, last year.
Yes.
Now,
and of which the riot led to the removal of the registration. Yes, because we had like 4
penalties.
Yes.
Now, after he was denied the opportunity to stand, he decided to rally at the back of Mr. Nyanzi. If you've been following closely, he has been vibrant. He has been one of the most vibrant men in the campaign, singing songs and chanting words that praised Nyanzi Bashir.
The energy.
Now, back to the debate. Mr. Kalema got the opportunity to ask his candidate the first question. If you didn't know, if you were not following, the question was, Mr. President, when are you swearing? And
I
Mr.
remember.
Nyazi, in a humble manner, he replied, Inshallah.
Oh,
I mean,
which means
appealing to the Muslim. I'm Chauvin, I mean, I'm not a Muslim, but I think
if
it means
God wills.
if God wills,
Yes.
if it goes as planned,
Yeah.
after the EC declares them president-elect, which is tonight,
Of the 19th Guild
Guild government.
Yes.
He said they will swear in very soon. Now the other question came in from a student asking a question of inclusivity. You're talking about inclusivity, but your running mate is a Ugandan. However, according to the information I have, the running mate is actually a Rwandese who just grew up in Uganda.
Yes.
But we need to clear that debate for once and for all. If I'm a Rwandese who grew up in Uganda, of which nationality am I?
Now, nationality, citizenship, it's one by birth, the other by registration. You get, so you can be a citizen of both countries. Uganda by birth and then the other side by origin. You get origin.
We shall
there's so
probably
much
have
to
to host
that.
Madame Kaneza one of these days. She will
Yes,
tell us
she'll
her
tell
true
us.
nationality. Remember, as we are speaking, polling is ongoing. If you're still home, run. But as you run, don't forget to pick your green card, because it is the only requirement you need to cast your vote tonight, to cast for the leadership that is going to affect you for the next 12 months.
Don't miss out on the opportunity for you to exercise your rights as a student of the university, and that is voting.
It's your civic duty
Deciding
and
on who
responsibility.
the next 19th Guild president is.
Have you casted your vote?
I have, yes, I have.
In favor of who? But why is your pinky finger not looking like mine?
I casted my vote.
But as we speak, for us, we have casted our vote. However, we withheld the names of the candidates. We have casted our vote
Yes,
for,
but
because it will
all
look
I
like
can say
campaigning.
is I voted for a candidate who is coming to serve.
A potential candidate.
Yes.
But aren't you the people that vote for candidates and they don't get to go through?
Oh no,
Who did
I'm
you
not
vote
that
for
kind.
presidency
I'm not that
in
kind.
the 2026 general elections, the Ugandan elections?
Honestly, everyone knows I am an NRM person, so I voted His Excellency
As a journalist, you're
Yoweri
meant to
Kaguta
be neutral.
Museveni.
May I keep the? I decide to keep the identity of the person I voted
me,
for.
I won't be neutral.
Anyway, back to the open debates.
Yes.
We are still in session 1, where students got a chance to ask questions their candidates. Getting to Mr. Waninda Jafar, one of the I don't know if I'm meant to say this, but looking at all factors, being honest, the race seems to be, the tight race seems to be between Mr. Nyanzi and Mr. Waninda.
Yes, yes.
But remember, we are not EC, and it's not our duty to declare who the champions of the elections are. That's the duty of Madame Medina, and she will be declaring the results within 12 hours, just like the 2013 Constitution says. Now, back to the questions.
Yes.
The first question came from a fellow, Mr. Chigozi, who happens to be a student of journalism and mass communication.
Yes.
He asked him, "You're promising us the charter. What process is it? What requirements does it take for a university to require a charter?
Yes.
And at what level is the university at in its pursuit for the charter?" However, he was given an opportunity to first sit down, get a break, think it all.
Yes.
He didn't provide the answer, and the question still pens. He provided a wrong answer.
He talked about, you need to have a provisional license in order
exactly.
for and he included that. Yes.
Okay.
He talked about
requirement 1. The question was requirements in plural.
No, he mentioned a couple of them. That's why I want to list it down for you.
Okay, list them down.
He talked about the quality of the leadership of the university,
which is wrong.
Yes, and then he mentioned the provisional license, that the university has to provide a provisional license, right? And then he mentioned that the lecturers of the university must have the right qualifications. You get to be lecturers. Yes?
Okay.
two are right. One is wrong. You shouldn't
let's
emphasize
say
on
to
the
the next
one.
candidate. The next candidate was Madame Nabira.
Yes.
I remember she's the only female contender in the race. So if you're a feminist out there, I guess this is your time to shine. Pick your
Yes.
card, go and cast your vote for Madame Nabira.
Yes.
One of the questions that was asked to Madame Nabira, a question came from a fellow from international diplomacy.
Yes.
That's Madame Magova Leah.
Leah, yes.
She asked her if the university, what was her stand on why the university is not a partisan university. Why aren't we participating in partisan university? But according to the information I have, and the information I got from the EC chair, Madame Medina, she
yes.
clearly told us that the elections we were heading for were partisan. A candidate was supposed or were free to affiliate with any political party.
Yes.
And as you can see, Honorable Anita Jafal's posters are full of yellow. We do not know if he's a candidate affiliating to the NRM party because we didn't get a chance to talk to him. Official communication is coming in from the EC right now that voting or polling is soon ending. If you're out there, if you're in jam, I could give you advice to move out of that car, run or take a bike to St. Lawrence. We are voting in Chimuli Main Hall. Come and cast your vote. This is your civic duty. It is your civic role to participate in the voting of the leadership that will affect you for the next 12 months. I mean a full year. Very many things can happen in a full year. Come and cast your vote. Back to the debate.
That's so true.
Back to the debate. Heading to the next candidate. That's Mr. Brian.
Brian.
I actually got the opportunity to ask Mr. Brian, to pose a question to Mr. Brian. I myself, because he has been the serving MP non-residents, I asked him why he moved into the gate last year in the previous semester as students were being locked outside, non-residents, the very people he represents. And he said he did what he could, whatever he could in his power.
Yes.
And I do the rest he left to God.
Yes. I remember he posed a question to you. He asked you, he was like, what is the role of an MP?
The role of an MP is to represent
To present our views.
the grievances of the people you
Yes.
represent.
So he did his part of what? Of presenting the views.
However,
yes, that's what he meant by he did his part. So if the institution did not take action on that,
and I am
Then the
100%
institution did
ally
do their
with him,
part.
the institution is to blame.
yes.
The other question was to his vice president. The question was meant to test the eloquency of the vice president.
Yes.
And to speak honestly as a media personality,
Yes.
we are meant to be the watchdogs of society. We are
yes.
meant to reach information where it's not reaching. The vice president of Mr.
Muganga
Brian is not eloquent. That's the only word I can use. And remember, I'm not decampaigning him. I'm just stating the facts and matters. According to the information coming in from the EC, voting will be closing at 4:30 and it's 3:19.
Voting is officially closed.
Shall close at 4:30
Oh,
and it's
okay.
3:19.
3:19.
So you still have a couple of minutes to cast your vote.
Yes.
I mean, me, I'm done. I've already casted my vote.
We are done casting our
The
votes.
question remains to you, the audience. Have you casted your vote? Or you're part of the people? Earlier on today in the morning, I was sharing with a colleague, and he said he will be casting his vote at 4:29. To be on a safer side, come and
That's how
cast your
people-
vote earlier.
Oh, good.
The colleague told me he will be casting his vote at 4:29.
That's
1
like
minute,
1
to,
minute
to,
to the-
to the closing.
to the closing.
I don't know about you. Are you part of him? Are you planning to do so? And we do not know, we do not have official communication from the EC of whether polling time shall be extended. But remember, they have time to catch up with. The Constitution mandates them to announce the winner within
Yes.
12 hours.
Yes.
Now we are still discussing the debate. If you've just tuned in, we are discussing the debate. We are taking you through what transpired during the open-air
Open
debate
air
that
debate.
happened yesterday.
Yes.
Now, we are heading to the second session. The first session was student candidates. The second session was staff,
Then the candidates.
Yes. And the staff was represented by Mr. Lennox from the Faculty of Business.
Yes.
And the madam who vices the chair, the vice chancellor of the university. And in Mr. Lennox's conversation, he had to clear out some mistakes that were made by the candidates.
Yes.
For example, Mr. Waninda had shared with us information that a certain student had been attacked with a knife.
Yes.
Because one of the things in his manifesto is to improve security of the university.
Yes.
And Mr. Lennox asked him if there is to give the name. However, he said the victim had instructed him to withhold the name. So we do not know if it really happened, but all we know, Mr. Waninda told us it happened. And I believe he's a Muslim who can't lie.
Yes.
We are taking his word as a man of Allah.
That also reminds me. So when Minister Lennox came to also clarify certain things on the manifesto that Mr. Jaffa had, he talked about, because in Mr. Jaffa's manifesto, he talked about improving the quality of education in this institution, and that was by adding some courses. He talked about electrical engineering and also cyber security. Yes, so Minister Lennox, actually, this is to inform the people out there that are watching. This August, St. Lawrence University is including cyber security as one of our courses. So if you're out there and you would like to do such a course, you can come, because we are one of the best already. We have participated in a couple of workshops and competitions on that.
So if you are a senior 6 vacist out there looking for a university and your wish or dream is to pursue a bachelor's degree or a diploma in cybersecurity, St. Lawrence University, located in Rubaga, opposite Kawaka's Lake. The only university that gets to get a breeze from the lake. This is the place. This is the right place. I mean, you can see.
We are enjoying the Ugandan,
and we are who we
weather.
think we are when it comes to ICT, because our niche is entrepreneurship and ICT.
Yes.
Now, back to the open air debate. The secretary to the vice chancellor had to pose a question to Mr. Waninda Jaffa, the same question that Mr. Chigos had earlier posed.
Yes.
The same question concerning the charter.
Yes.
This was to assert the fact that the answers he had given were not convincing. And even after this question again, he failed to give convincing answers.
Also,
But if we are to talk realistically, do you think a student has the power to win a charter for a university?
now, thank you so much. You've posed that question so well. You said a student. You get it? But when you're in the leadership,
You're still a student.
okay.
Because I remember in the vetting process, the vice chancellor had to ask Mr. Mganga Brian, if you become the guild president, will you cease being a student? And he said, I'll always be a student.
Yes.
The vice chancellor's reply was excellently answered. So even if you become a guild president, you are still a student. The
Okay.
question remains.
For me, what I think Mr. Jaffa was trying to mean was he would push for it as a leader who is representing the students. You get it? He would push for it because when you become the guild president, you have the right to sit in the boardroom and present the issues of the students to the what? To the administration,
That
right?
takes me back to the manifesto of the 18th guild government.
Yes.
That is, the president of the 18th guild government is an international student.
Yes.
Mr. His Excellence Abdurazak.
Yes.
One of his key points in his manifesto was the charter.
Yes.
The very government that Mr. Waninda Jaffa has been serving on.
Yes.
And that also takes me back to what Madam Nabira had to say. You do not stand here in front of students and tell them, I've not done this and this, because the office I've been occupying is a small office. Every office has to impact. The
Yes.
question remains, why didn't the 18th guild government push for it?
Well,
We
that's
don't
a
have
mystery
We don't
that
have
will
answers
be
for that.
answered in the near future.
But you can answer it.
Yeah.
Now, getting to the third session of the debate, which was the face of debate,
Yes. Oh my God.
where candidates had to ask each other questions.
Yes.
I think what stood out for me was when Mr. Waninda Jafal asked Nyanzi Bashir to sing the school anthem. What do you mean you want to lead an institution you can't clearly sing the anthem? But interestingly, Mr. Nyanzi managed to at least sing the chorus,
Yes.
and later on, his running mate, Madam Kaneza Shanita, came in to accomplish the task. Remember why you asked to come two people, you're meant to serve as a team. And that's the reason why it's one person appearing on the ballot.
Yes.
If you're voting for Mr. Nyanzi, you're also voting for Madam Kaneza.
Yes.
So it's a teamwork. It's a team
Teamwork.
thing.
Yes.
So what stood out for you? Because that's what stood out for me.
What stood out for me in
The face-off.
the face of debates? Well, for me, the one that stood out for me was for Mr. Mwanga Brian and Madam Nabila.
Continue.
Do you remember what happened?
Elaborate. What happened? Tell the viewers. Me, I was there,
Sorry.
but
Oh
we have
my
a view.
God.
We have a viewer who was
Sorry.
not there.
Sorry.
Tell them what happened.
So, in the debate, they were asked to ask straightforward questions, yeah? But then Mr. Brian Mwanga was asking constructive questions. Muganga, sorry about that, I apologize. Mr. Brian Muganga was asking constructive questions, which was hard for Madam Nabila to, grasp and understand. Yes? That kind of stood out for me.
Okay, that was what happened. That was what transpired in the debating process. The debate happened yesterday. By the way, what stood out for me in the entire debate was Mr. Mujomba's interest. If to clear the air, Mr. Mujomba is Nyanzi Bashir, is Crazy Lona. They are all his names. His interest, he was brought in carried, and his fans or his voters were singing songs and chanting his name.
And the other thing about his interest, he was actually carried on their shoulders. Did you see that?
Yes, that's what.
Yes.
And that's how he went out.
And that's how he went out.
Yes, that's how he came in. That's how he went out.
Okay.
He had the best interest of the day. Mr. Muganga came with the band.
Yes.
It could be your best interest of the day. Madam Nabila was credited for having had the most disciplined voters in the room.
Supporters in the room. Yes.
Mr. Waninda Jafal's voters were the most vibrant voters of the day. Now, that's what transpired. Remember, as I earlier told you before she joined me on set, voting or polling is just the climax of an entire process. An election is a big process. That's what we've been doing for the last hour, breaking it down up to today when we are climaxing the voting process. Now, let's take you through what has happened today and what we expect to happen today later on when we are offset.
Now, before
You actually came in, you arrived at school earlier than me.
Yes.
To tell me what happened before I arrived.
So yes, today, the 27th of March, I woke up very early in the morning as a student of mass communication and journalism. Who doesn't mind her business? Yes. So I woke up very early in the morning. I came here at 7:30. I was already here. The gates were locked. If you do not have a registration card, you were not allowed access into the hall. Into the university, into the campus. So I come in because I had my green card, that's why I'm in here. So I come in, I was given access, but by the time I arrived, the Electoral Commission was kind of like on pressure. They were moving around, trying to set up the place where we would have our elections in the main hall. Yes, really.
I came in late, not because I'm usually a late comer, but I was disturbed by the weather.
Yeah.
It rained earlier. By the way, we are expecting a low voter turnout due to the weather. But I also had my green card. That's why I'm here and I'm able to tell you what's happening.
Also, regardless of the weather, the students still came in to vote there.
And according to
leaders.
information I have from a candidate, the EC told them they have about 1,200 1,200 rather
Registration cards.
the ballots. They have 1,200
200
ballots.
Okay.
So they are expecting at least 1,200 students to come and cast for their vote. I don't know if all the 1,200 students cast their vote, the EC will be able to deliver.
Honestly speaking, basing on that turn up, honestly, we don't think so.
You honestly don't think so?
I don't. Oh, sorry for including you in this. I honestly don't think that the turn up was that high, of over 1,000 students. 1,000?
Yes.
Okay.
And earlier
We
on,
shall wait and hear.
and earlier on today, reportedly, a certain candidate had ballot papers circulating all over internet, ticked ballot papers in red ink. Remember, in the polling station, which is Chimuli Main Hall, we are voting, we are ticking with a blue pen. That means blue ink. So circulating images had red ink. But according to certain candidates I managed to reach out before set, they told me the issue had been cleared. EC had cleared this out, and they said if red ink is detected in the box, voting shall be redone. And remember, if according to the constitution, if there are any inconveniences that makes the vote uncertain, the candidate is supposed to appeal to the tribunal, and the EC does not dissolve until the next president or the president-elect and his government swears in. And in case of a tie, which is not most likely to happen with 4 candidates, it's okay, it could happen. I am not good at mathematics, but according to the little mathematics I learned, according to probability, 4 candidates can't have a tie. But if it happens, a re-election is supposed to be done within 7 days. So it means today is Friday.
Yes.
A re-election must run before 7 days.
Yes.
But we do not expect that to happen. We expect the EC to declare the winner or the president-elect within a few minutes, or rather within a few hours after polling. This is 12 hours to be more clear. This is after counting, and polling is expected to begin immediately after polling. Remember, polling is ending or closing officially at 4:30. Don't be like that colleague of mine who said he's going to cast their vote at 4:29. Come and cast your vote. According to my time, my phone here says it's 34 minutes past the hour of 3. Roughly an hour or 50 minutes remain before polling officially close. So you literally have 1 hour to pick your green card, head to university. If you're a student and you're still lost, probably students must have got lost. The location is Rubaga, opposite Kabaka's Lake. You'll be able to see the tall building, that's Central Lens University, and we are voting in Chimuli Main Hall, just opposite Candlelight, the Candlelight Square. We shall be voting, or we are still voting, and we shall be voting. However, some of us have already casted our vote. So, what are your expectations after 4:30? Your personal expectations before we go to the constitutional expectations.
My personal expectations from the look of things are peaceful. So I expect the peace to go on.
Security is all over.
Security is all over. So I don't expect to see any violence, by the way.
And we tell you, or we convince you, please maintain peace, maintain harmony, even if your candidate does not go through.
Yes. Remember that all leadership is from God. Yes.
And an old man usually tells me, an old wild man usually tells me that Numbers do not lie. And remember, the voting system we are following is a majority system.
Yes.
The majority get to win.
Yes.
Numbers never lie.
Yes.
And I think numbers will not lie today. Numbers will not disappoint. Come and vote for your candidates. Remember, there are 4 candidates in the race. Madam Nabira standing out as the only female candidate. Madam Waninda Jafal, who has been serving as the Minister of Entertainment, Sports and Culture. As I told you, you may hate him, you may not like him, but his ministerial post stood out on the 18th government. The other candidate is Mr. Muganga Brian, a preacher of the word, the only Christian in the
Guild president race.
in the race.
Yes.
And he has also been serving as the MP non-residents.
Yes.
So if he has served you well, because yesterday he told us there are people he helped to get places to stay in or sleep in outside university.
Yes.
So if you're one of those people, please come return a favor, come cast your vote for him, come do a favor to a brother.
Yes.
The other candidate is Mr. Nyazi Bashir, widely known as Mujomba aka Crazy Lona. Remember, we are using the official names. Don't get into the polling station, don't get into Chimuli main hall and you start looking for
Crazy Lona.
Crazy Lona or Mujomba. We are
His name is
Nyazi Bashir.
Yes.
And he's the only personality on the race that has never held a position of leadership in Central Lens University, but his profile story is also out, the English profile story and the Luganda profile story.
Yes.
We are using Slau Media, the very channel you are able to view this live.
Yes.
What is happening is the very channel you have to look for as you're looking for the profile story. But he told me on the policy room that he's the man behind the Association of Artists at Central Lens University.
Oh, he's a student of...
He's a student pursuing a bachelor's in industrial art.
Yes.
So if you're a student of industrial art, this is your time to shine. Come and cast your vote for Nyazi Bashir. If you're one of the artists in the association, he says, come and cast your vote. Because I mean, you must have appreciated him founding the association and the leadership he has offered.
Yes.
If you're convinced and if you think and if you believe that the kind of leadership that association is under is some kind of leadership the university students body should be under, come and cast your vote before it clocks 4:30. Somebody call me, please. I don't know, but if someone could tell producer, are we out of time?
We're out of time.
So let's close with our expectations.
Yes.
We were saying we expect peace and harmony.
Yes.
Also, I would not say that with an election where we have about 4 candidates, every candidate with people who believe in him or her, I believe there must... But that's why the Uganda police is here to settle that. So if you have anything in mind to cause violence, the Uganda police is here for you. And remember, vote counting shall begin exactly 4:30. Just like the Constitution says, after polling closes officially, voting immediately begins. According to information I have, one media personality might be, not the word might, one media personality might be allowed inside the room where voting counting shall be taking place. And other people that are allowed in are the voting agents of the candidates. So if you're a polling agent rather of any candidate, prepare, go and have lunch because counting is about to begin. We are about to know the 19th Guild president, the president-elect, but it does not end there until they take their oath. I don't know, we are not certain if it will be Madam Nabira or Mr. Jaffa or Mr. Mjomba or Mr. Muganga or your candidates, the one you've casted. We do not know, we are not certain. But if it happens and they are declared president-elect, they are expected to take their oath before 14 days. That's what the Constitution says. So, but until they take their oath of allegiance, it does not end there. Any candidate that has been a participant can appeal to the tribunal or to the EC that is expected to dissolve after the next president takes their oath. I think we are now up to speed. If you didn't know what has been happening throughout the last 14 days, I think we are up to speed. I've been Musinwa Chauvin and my colleague.
Loretta Achille.
Thank you for choosing Slau Media. We shall be taking you through the voting process, and after the voting process, we shall be back